All right. Hold up. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, chat. Check, check. All right, I need to make sure that was my mic. What's going on, Brad? Hi, Carol. Carol Ann. Is it going to snow in Portland? It's been raining here. Brad, where you at? It might snow in Portland. We might get some low elevation snow in Portland. You know what? We might. Carol Ann. I corrected myself. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, we'll get started in a second. Let me see if I can can I change? I feel like I don't need my radar on here. Let's delete this. Well, maybe I'll bring this to the front. Let me fix this a little bit. Order, move to top. We'll do move to top. Whoa, I don't know. It might be too big there. Let's bring this up here. There we go. I feel like we don't need this. Delete. There we go. Wait, I'm reorganizing my cameras. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold up. All right. Let's see. Let's make this a little bit bigger up here so everyone can see it. Pull this. No, this needs to be on top. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. I feel like that makes the most sense. Since no one is looking at the radar. There we go. What's going on? Welcome to the weather world. That's right. Good on Sonic. Let's go. Not yep. Yep. It's going to be warm in Georgia for a while. It's going to be warm in Georgia for a while. Rain is coming down hard in Pittsburgh. Yep. No surprise. Let me adjust this. If only I knew how my webcam worked. Did you see the plane crash in Philly? Yeah, just south of me. I didn't see it crash, but it's not too far from where I live. Very sad. I don't even want to get into that. My wife told me it was carrying a pediatric patient, and that was when I said I don't want to know more. It's obvious that's as bad as it gets. Very, very, very sad. Very sad. What's going on, Mezzo? Yeah, I was carrying a pediatric patient. I don't know what's going on in the Mid-Atlantic, but it's terrible. It's terrible. I guess North Carolina snow is done. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We'll get into that in a second. Let me fix my webcam. Not necessarily. I don't. Maybe, but not necessarily. We'll talk about why in a second. Yeah, cold weather probably will come back soon. Sorry, I'm reading chat for a second, then we're going to go over kind of updates here. What about East Tennessee snow? Again, possible. Pull me some soundings for Western Kentucky next week. Should we do that? Mezzo. Let me see here. I've never pulled soundings on Weather Bell, but I wonder how this would work. Let me see if I can pull. I think I can pull soundings on Weather Bell. U.S. Let's go into Kentucky. God, I don't know. We'll just pull Louisville, maybe. Something out of Louisville. And can we do the date on here? Oh, we can. Let's go to the 12Z. Give me a date. Give me a date and time, Mezzo. When should we pull soundings for Kentucky? Guys, we're getting into everything that's going on. Also, I don't know if any of you remember these. Next Wednesday night? Okay. Yo, I was just on a little vacation. I saw these. These are way more sour than I remembered. I don't know if anyone's my age that remember these, but... All right, let's see. Next Wednesday night. All right, let's go Wednesday. Let's see here. One second, guys. This is on our Euro. Matt, can you see this? I mean, nothing too concerning. Yeah. I mean, the shears there, the capes. Nothing too concerning yet. I've been waiting for your live all day. South of Seattle. Give me... Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it, chat. Let's get into the fun stuff. Euro might be a different date. GFS shows Wednesday night. Yeah, the GFS is probably being aggressive. I mean, let me look on here. Let's look at the GFS just straight up on the 18Z. Going into... Man, this zonal flow is crazy. Matt, I don't know if you're seeing this. This guys, our jet stream just wants to pump west to east across the states like this. Sorry, let me move this back so you guys can see it. I'm gonna get into everything. Give me a second. Our jet stream just wants to move west to east across the states like this for a while, which is good. If you don't want any severe weather. But wow, you can see this when we go to our, actually, let me exit out of this 1 second, guys. When we go to our 500 millibar height and wind, here's our jet stream. Let's go out into our continental view. Watch this jet. Okay. For severe weather, you want to see a big dip in the jet stream. You want this cold air diving and forcing its way into warm air down here. You want that cold, warm air boundary. You want something with your dry line out here, moist air pushing into dry air. But watch this jet stream. Do you guys see this? West to east, this horizontal flow. Look at this. I mean, this is why I was telling you guys back in January. Our northern plains, Pacific Northwest, I mean, up here, you guys are going to get some snow. Some good snow. Look at this. Zonal flow, zonal flow, zonal flow. It looks like it's going to dive. Nah, zonal flow. This is incredible. I can't remember the last time I saw just a month-long look, just zonal flow, zonal flow, zonal flow. And let me go to the Euro real quick here. The Euro does see a big dip right there. End of our run. Big dip right there. End of our run. Kind of a... And I looked at the teleconnection on this. It shows our NAO going negative with a negative EPO here as well, or a negative AO as well here, which is why I'm still holding on. I've been talking about second half of February, colder air out east, storm track out east. The Euro is acknowledging. The European model obviously is a fan of me and heard what I said and wants to keep the dream alive for the East Coast. Obviously, guys. The Euro model actually follows me on TikTok and YouTube and wants to keep the dream alive. So the Euro is still the Euro is still diving down here and wanting to give us a chance for it. But I'm getting nervous because this zonal flow, this just straight jet stream tucking from the, like, what is this? This zonal flow is just lasting for way too long. Eventually it's going to break. Our AO is going negative. What does our AO going negative mean? That means we have a slight high pressure building up in the Arctic up here, and our polar jet that holds in all that cold air is weakening, meaning we have much colder air than should be dipping down here. All you need with that is our jet stream to say, hey, let me help tug that cold air down a little bit further. And that's when you set up again out here. But our EPO, our WPO, everything wants to ignore that. Now, our PNA on the European Weekly does agree ridging out here third week of February. And if that happens, the dream's alive. I was really, really accurate in January with my projections. And if the PNA European Weekly is correct, we're going to get that dive again, and we're going to be cold and stormy back out here at the end of February. But I'm getting nervous because, man, this jet stream just, like I said, west to east coast, not diving. This wants to last for a while. Well, what does that mean for all of you? That means consistently cold air up here and snow, and way above average down here. We're talking summer, spring heat down here, summer, spring heat showers. I mean, Atlanta, guys, all your major cities down here expect to feel like it's late spring, summertime. Again, with the zonal flow, though, it's actually better for avoiding severe weather because you're not going to have any sort of big negatively tilted trough with just an insane amount of lift out ahead of it, tilting up those sheared columns of air. So that's good. That's positive. We don't want any severe weather for you guys down south, but man, it's going to heat up down south for a while. All right. Anyways, let's just get into our latest Euro, and I'm taking questions. Here's what's happening on our Euro. Basically what I just said. Let's take a look up north, and we've got, just watch the north. Look at all that blue. Look at all this blue up top. And why is this happening? Guys, these red isobars right here, associate this with above freezing air. Associate all this blue up here with below freezing air. Watch along the blue and the red, we're going to have lift. We're going to have storms. And you can see this up there, PNW, northern plains, upper Midwest, inland New England, just storm after storm riding. Now, the end of the Euro does I know people in Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, all you guys have been asking, look at the end of the Euro. The end of the Euro does what I've been saying is going to happen since mid-January, and I hope it happens because I've been bullish on this. The end of the Euro does have that tilt, and suddenly there's your Nebraska, Iowa snowstorms, northern Indiana, and you do get that, those big snowstorms through the central plains, like I actually thought would happen likely earlier than this. So that looks good for you guys. Now, what I would like to happen after that is we get that cold air back out east, but we'll see. All right, let's go to chat. Connor Backus, I was bored. What's up? What's up, Santiago? How was the water park? The water park was good. My son had a great time. Exhausting for us, but yeah, he had a good time. I did see the plane crash in Philly, Chris. Yeah, I'm not too far north of there. Jocelyn said, I hope I'm wrong. Hey, I might be. Man, luckily for me, the European is the best cold air model, and it still agrees with me. So I'll take that win. Minnesota needs snow. I bet my mortgage Minnesota's about to get a lot of snow. I'm confident in that. Listen, there's nothing like a zonal flow from Minnesota snow. That sounded like a rhyme. I feel like I should write you know what I mean? Like I feel like Dr. Seuss right now. There's nothing like a zonal flow for Minnesota snow. It's going to happen. When you get a zonal flow, you get a ton of lift across the northern plains and northern Midwest. You guys are going to get maybe not a huge blizzard, but you guys are going to get multiple chances for snow in this first couple of weeks. You'll get accumulation up there. Easy. All right. Put it down. Take the over. Bet the whole line. It was 60 in Iowa yesterday. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Let's slow this down. It was. I want to tell you something about Iowa and Nebraska, too. The way our jet stream wants to set up, you guys are going to be so close to being below average. The jet stream wants to set up with below average temperatures here, just in these northern states, and above here. So you're going to be like splitting almost Iowa down the middle. Write a children's book about weather. I might. How much snow for Wisconsin? Again, Wisconsin's in a great spot for snow with this pattern. Central to northern Wisconsin. Green Bay. Milwaukee. Where's that? Madison, isn't that's down there somewhere, right? Yeah, Madison, Milwaukee might be a little bit tougher. Just because of how high our jet stream wants to sit right now. I mean, this is where your snow and cold air is going to be floating through. And out here in the Rockies, just because we have an atmospheric river pushing in. Quickly, I need you guys to see something. And even if you don't live out here in California and you couldn't care less about California, I want to show you guys something crazy. Something that could be record breaking. I don't know if any of you can read this. Let me see. Let me get back to it. Give me 1 second. If any of you can read this, I want you to tell me what the number says. Hold up. Can anyone see what that number says in the middle of that little gray bubble right there? 129. That's in about 3 days. 129 inches of snow. Can anyone do the math? Almost 11 feet. 11 feet of snow is expected to fall in portions of the Cascades. This might be being a little bullish, but this is the Euro and it's not too far out. So say the Euro's wrong by 3 feet. That's 8 feet of snow in 3 days. Yeah. Guys, people need to be on their roofs in the Cascades, shoveling the snow off their roofs every day, because you get 11 feet of snow on your head. I don't care if you have a concrete roof. We had a supermarket roof break down. It was like a year or two ago, collapsed because of the snow. Guys, 11 feet of snow in 72 hours. 11 inches of snow in 72 hours is a lot of snow. This is 11 feet. This is an atmospheric river. And look, and you're looking up here like, only 45 inches, 38 inches, 70 inches, 62. 129 potentially. Just saying. This is going to be significant. So we'll watch that. But I hope for people... I don't care how much people out there like snow. I hope for their sake, 11 feet of snow doesn't fall in 72 hours. I'm telling you that. They are going to be underground. They're going to be underground. I love it. David said, I love it when people see a forecast that's absolutely max scenario and believe it. David, were you here about 45 seconds ago where I said that even if the Euro's wrong and it's 3 feet off, 8 feet would still be a lot? You're talking about the best global model for snow and cold air troughing within 5 days to a week. And I still said it could be 3 feet off, which would be a monumental overperformance from the Euro in that time frame. Is 8 feet not enough? By the way, a couple years ago, we saw 8 to 9 feet drop in a 72-hour period in the Cascades. But clearly you're unfamiliar with that region. Clearly you're unfamiliar with how atmospheric rivers work and low-pressure systems work and how that happens and how you get lift off the mountains. So, or you're just in here trolling, which I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You're just in here trolling because I don't want to think you're that ignorant or uneducated. So, but I appreciate you being in the stream, helping the algorithm. So, how much snow do you think Minnesota is going to get? I think northern Minnesota is going to get the most snow from this scenario. Just because how far north our jet stream is setting up, you're going to get the most snow based on your snow ratio. So it's going to be a little bit better farther up in the north. Although we can take a little bit of a look out here, and we can go. So we'll go out 5 days on the Euro, just to be cautious. 120 hours, and you can see central to northern Minnesota. You guys are going to get snow. Obviously, right now, Twin Cities 4 to 5 in 120 hours. I think that's realistic. The one time I've come in and your chat hasn't been absolutely wild Well, it's because I only have 390 people in here right now, which is good. I love having 1,000+ people in chat, but this is actually a little bit more enjoyable. But yeah, but you can see as we move forward. And again, what do I always say? And people know I say this all the time. Some people say past 96 hours is La La Land. That's BS. The Euro can understand where snow is falling regionally 120 to 150 hours out, not locally. But you can take something from the GFS, Euro, and Canadian all agreeing. And they do all agree. Big. Look at the pain up here. Big target of snow up here in the Northern Plains. So I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked at all if the Twin Cities saw a foot or over in the first 2 weeks. To stay on the cautious side, I'd say anywhere from 5 to 8 inches is likely over the next 2 weeks. But you could overperform. You're going to have a lot of snow riding the northern side of the jet stream. But you can also see what happens here. I mean, look at this kind of tight snow line up here. Why? Because we have above freezing air that's going to be stuck up here as we have this zonal flow. So you're really close in Minneapolis to almost getting just 1 to 3 inches over the next 2 weeks. I do think you'll get more of this snow, though. I do think you'll be on the 6 inches plus side, and you'll get some good accumulation over the next 2 weeks. Why are we going to be hot in the panhandle of Texas for the next 6 days? It's going to be more than 6 days you're going to be hot in the panhandle. Why? Again, like I said, we have our Arctic oscillation dropping, going negative. What that means is up here in the Arctic, this jet stream up here, the faster it spins, look, boom, 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 boom. The faster it spins, the more it acts as a force field to hold that cold air in. Our Arctic oscillation, our jet stream is actually going to be slowing because we have some heat and high pressure building up. So all this Arctic air is going to be slowly drifting down here over the next 2 weeks. Okay? That's when we can get a big Arctic blast, whatever. The problem is the second part of the equation you need your jet stream to kind of dive down. To assist, okay, we got our cold air down here. Now we need it to dive down farther. What our jet stream is doing is not diving down. Our jet stream, as we move forward here, watch it, is just moving. It's called a zonal flow straight across the country. So it's just holding that cold air right in the north. Any little dip in this jet stream will assist with that negative AO, negative Arctic oscillation, and we could have another big winter outbreak very far down in the south. What happened when we got that foot of snow in Louisiana, 9 inches into Florida, is we had the negative AO, and then our jet stream decided to go whoop like this, vertical, and pull that freezing air down to the Gulf. So we have one part of the equation moving forward, but we need the other part. We need this jet stream right here to dip and help pull that cold air down to the south. Now, the Euro at the end of this run, it's pretty far out. The Euro does want this to dip. Okay? That's why mid-February into the third week of February, we're looking at a chance for that cold air to return into Texas, return into the southeast. But it's not guaranteed, but that's kind of what our best cold air troughing model sees. Nebraska. Again, when do we see Nebraska getting a big snow with our Euro? At the end of this pattern, when it sees that jet dip. This is our jet dipping right here. And suddenly, look where all the snow is. Look where all the snow is. Right through Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa. This is almost 300 hours out. Now, it's not completely unrealistic. Our teleconnections see it on the GFS Canadian and Euro. So this is something that really could happen. I think it's about a 50-50 shot at this point. Flip a coin. If it lands on the right side, you're going to get big, heavy snow through the center plains like this. At this point. It's not guaranteed, though. That'd be good. That'd be really good for Indiana, too. Because right now, with the zonal flow, all that snow is staying just to your north. If you do get that positive PNA, well, actually, you wouldn't even really want a positive PNA. You'd actually want it to hold negative and get those storms riding up the coast like this, like I showed you. Then you get snow into central and southern Indiana, just like you just saw there on the radar, our future radar. I appreciate the follows, guys, and the subs. Thank you. Winter weather always changing. Yep. Glad zombies in here stating the obvious. Do you think Missouri is going to get any winter weather in early or in mid-February? Again, that's another one of those areas where, you know, and I tell people this all the time. There's always people in chat who are like, stop looking at the radar, 200. It's not my first time doing this. These models do very good, especially the Euro at troughing, cold air troughing, and warm air ridging. Okay, so you're not necessarily, if I go out this far on the radar, I'm not concerned with what it shows on the feature radar, what this storm's going to do. Is there going to be, a big severe weather outbreak here and a big winter storm up here? I'm not looking at that. What I'm looking at on this radar is the troughing. Here is what I see. I see a trough right here. I see a digging trough. Okay, and then we can go and we can compare this and we can say, okay, so let's go to our teleconnections. Is there anything that would make me believe that future radar? And we can see right here, here's our Arctic oscillation moving forward into the middle of February, and it's negative. Okay, and our teleconnections are a pretty good sign of what could come. A negative AO, this brings below average temperatures into the lower 48. This makes it colder than it should be for that time of year into the lower 48. We can also go and then take a look. Let's look at our PNA. So here is a problem once we get out there. This is a negative PNA. This would say that cold air that's being pulled down from the Arctic is probably going to be out west. Why? When this is positive, that's a sign of a ridge out west, meaning warmer air. When this is negative, that's a sign of a trough out west. So I can go into here. Okay, our Arctic oscillation is going negative. Colder air is plunging into the U.S. Where's it going to be, the west or the east? Okay, so our PNA is a really good sign of that. It's negative. Again, though, if we were to try to look a little bit farther out and we were to go into our weeklies, so let's go into here really quickly. Teleconnections, go into our weeklies. European weeklies. Move this over. Here is our PNA going positive, third week. And these aren't perfect, but they're better than looking at a future radar or anything like that. Here's a positive PNA as we push through the end of February. This means potentially troughing out east. It does mean troughing out east if this were to happen. And again, back to our AO. Now, this is an anomaly. I've never seen an AO that high, so I'm not paying attention to it. But again, if we were to see a positive PNA at that time and our AO neutral to negative, that could mean winter storms out east. It's honestly, there's a lot of things to look at, but sometimes people come in here and they think I'm looking at a future radar and telling you guys what might happen. There's a lot more that goes into this stuff. One second, let me fix this. One second, guys. Get back to chat. By the way, happy Friday to everyone. Minnesota, like I said, Minnesota's in a great spot to see above average snowfall. Central to northern, although I do think the Twin Cities are going to see some pretty good snow in the next couple of weeks. What do you think for Iowa? Like I said, if our Euro is right, which it's not going to be perfectly right, 200 to 300 hours out, but if our Euro is correct on the troughing, which is it's better at in that time frame, Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, northern Missouri will have a chance. Indiana will have a chance for a good snowstorm in mid-February. From what we are seeing with our models, what we are seeing with our teleconnection outlook, you guys do have a good shot for a good snow mid-February. 30 miles due north of New Mexico border. Well, this atmospheric river is going to dump a ton of snow just south and a ton of snow just north. The Rockies should have some should have some good skiing. Let's push forward maybe a week. We won't move farther than that. This is a good sign out here for skiing. This is not going to be a lot of low elevation snow for Utah, low elevation snow for Colorado, but high elevation ski resort snow, this should be pretty decent. It should be. Albany, New York. You guys have that snow line just to your north. Did you guys get any snow from the system that's been moving through? I'd expect that you guys would have gotten some snow on the ground from this clipper. Let me know. Yeah. So let's go up to the northeast real quick. Here we go. So it thinks, I mean, our Euro likes another 3.5 inches in, but you got to be careful because, again, look where the snow line is. Very, very tight. So yeah, I'd say 1 to 3, especially if Albany's low elevation. I mean, I'm not going to believe this far out. So maybe you guys get another 2 to 3 inches. That would be Sunday into Monday. It's going to be tough, though. Again, you're going to be really, really close to mixing and freezing rain with this next system that moves through. So that would be... So you're getting snow. Yeah, you got some snow from this. So our next system, this is kind of a clipper, would be moving through Sunday night. Actually, Sunday night into Monday. It's going to be tight. You guys could get another few inches. Guess where it's snowing? Buffalo. Let's see. Of course. Oh, you got a good... Julie, you got a good band over you in Buffalo. Oh, there's a nice band. Julie, it's got to be snowing pretty heavy there. It's got to be snowing heavy in Buffalo. I don't want it. I know. Guys, if you don't know Julie, she lives in Buffalo, and they just get feet and feet of snow, and she hates snow. Meg, I appreciate that. I don't know where Corvallis is. Aiden. Illinois around next weekend. Sorry, let me get out of here. I know I'm up here stuck in the Northeast. Illinois next weekend. Some cool air. I think I see why you're asking, huh? The Euro likes just a fat ice storm through Chicago. I leave for Florida Friday. That's why I'm here. Near St. Pete. Yep. Right north of Tampa. I got a lot of friends who actually still live in St. Pete. Oh, it looks to actually stay a little bit dry down there, too. It's going to be nice. Mixing and ice, man. I hope for Chicago's sake next weekend, and it could, guys, you can see where our kind of troughing is. I hope for Chicago's sake, this thing dips a little bit farther south because you do not need this ice. Neither does Detroit, honestly, too. Detroit is right in the path of this ice as well. Let's hope for your guys' sake. Wow, this would be a... Yeah, let's hope that shifts south. What do I think about Seattle? I've been talking about Seattle for a while. You guys getting some downpours right now? Watch as this trough digs to the south right here. There it is. Watch as this trough digs to the south on Tuesday. I've been talking about the 3 to the 6 range for a while out in Seattle. I'm hoping you guys get some low elevation snow. The problem is you have a lot of precip falling right now, but you have a little bit of a ridge. As that trough starts to dig to the south, giving you a chance for low elevation snow, that precip starts to move out to the east. But there's a little bit left up there. And right there as well. That would be low elevation snow as well. Potentially on the 7th or 8th. Let's see what the Euro thinks for you guys. Let's actually just zoom in. Because I know there's been a lot of people. I've had so many people who live up in Seattle being like, when are we getting low elevation snow? A lot of people don't realize Seattle's Seattle's almost on the Canadian border. And they only average 6 inches of snow a year. Because land cools much quicker than water. And you have water out here, which is not warm, but warm compared to the air. Much warmer than the air. And this kind of keeps them in a warmer environment for that altitude. So the Euro still is giving you a chance for snow. The Euro is giving Seattle a chance for snow Monday through Wednesday. It wants some low elevation snow. And then another chance around the 7th or 8th. It actually especially the 7th or 8th, it wants a lot of low elevation snow for Seattle and for Portland. you can see usually you see something like this out here, but you can see once that troughing kicks in, watch these valley areas fill with snow. So we're again, what that's just associated with this troughing that'll come, and you can see it right here. Let's go to our 500 millibar height anomaly. You get this blue settling in here while that snow's falling. Now you have right there. Now you have surface cold air that is going to support that snowfall and accumulation. So yeah, and that sticks around for a while and has some on the back end too. All right. What do your weather apps say? Because I would say you're going to get some low elevation snow within a week out there. Within the week, accumulating low elevation snow in Seattle. Wisconsin has been in the 40s. Any snow for us? Well, Wisconsin has gotten snow this year, a decent amount in northern Wisconsin. Southern Wisconsin's been struggling. You do have a clipper that wants to drop a little bit of snow through in your area this weekend, central to southern. Another clipper central. Green Bay is going to get a good amount of snow, it looks like, over the next week. And then again, this system right here is going to be an ice issue for you. This right here, which the GFS does kind of like this system as well, would be huge snow for potentially Milwaukee up to Green Bay. That's the Euro. Let's take a look at the GFS during that time frame if we have any sort of model consensus. The GFS likes that snow, Milwaukee up to Green Bay, actually Chicago up to Green Bay around that time frame too, around that 7th to the 9th time frame. So that would be a blanket of snow for all of Wisconsin, 7th to the 9th. But and the Euro sees it too. I guess you know what? Let's look at another model. Let's see how much model consensus we have on that system. Here we go. Yep, there you go. Canadian too. Like basically the whole state sees snow around that time frame. Not bad. Good model consensus. I say that's a good outlook for Wisconsin getting into early in the second week of February. Once you start having models agree, there's something to it there. They're all reading the data the exact same. I haven't even acknowledged any guess. Mezzo, Tic Tac, Ebony, Sonia, Letty, I appreciate you guys. My forecast is looking too warm in Ohio, and we have a chance of severe weather Thursday. Yeah, it's weird because sometimes you also get a kind of a zone of flow that sets up farther down here, but our jet stream's sitting up here, even cutting off these states far to the north. Guys, this is just like a pattern for the next couple weeks. It's not going to be for the rest of winter. For the next couple of weeks, that just really screws the entire country for snow for a little bit. So you're saying into next Thursday? Yeah, the Ohio Valley. Yeah, this is an awkwardly far north, potentially severe weather outbreak. Actually, Matt was talking about this earlier. Awkwardly far north severe weather outbreak for winter. Now, this is not going to be anything. I don't expect any like huge, big, strong tornadoes associated with this. Maybe a EF1, EF0 touches down. But strong windstorms, hail, heavy downpours. You could have some very summer, spring-like thunderstorms associated with this in February, which would be weird. But you definitely could. And then you can see what wants to happen right behind it. Another one. Another one. DJ Khaled. Yeah. So it's weird. But we're not going to stay in this pattern forever. Like I said, the European still likes my second half of February. Pretty vertical dip in the jet stream. Cold outlook for the east. So as long as it still agrees with me, we're sticking to it. I gotta open this Red Bull. I always get a question about Alaska. And honestly, nothing does good at covering Alaska. I can go continental. And I can take a look here and give you a pretty good guesstimate of what I think is going to happen. Massive ridge over Alaska. Warm, dry. That was the easiest forecast I've ever done. Huge ridge sitting over Alaska. Oh my gosh. And just massive troughing out west. What's going on? And I'm pretty sure Alaska has been underperforming all winter as well. Yep. You guys can see. Look at all these H's. Look at all these high. Look at all these high pressures. See these H's? These highs sitting over Alaska. That's associated with the red that you were seeing on the last map. Look at these highs. No moisture's getting in here. No moisture's getting in here. Wow. I haven't paid too much attention to Alaska this winter, but I'm pretty sure they're underperforming heavily when it comes to snowfall. At least coastal snowfall, if not most of the country, or most of the country, most of the state. Sorry, guys, it's Friday night, okay? Give me a break. When will we see New York City snow? Second half of February still looks promising. I'm holding to it. I'm not changing. I'm not the guy who's going to change his forecast every night, guys. I'm going to be really upset if I see this zonal flow continue for the next 3 days. There has to be a dip in the jet stream. Kansas storm season, good or bad this year? If you're talking about severe weather, we expect this spring to be very active, above average. Really anywhere from the Central Plains over to Dixie Alley. Dixie Alley might be a little bit more active just based on our outlook, but Enzo, neutral, weak La Nina tends to be an extreme severe weather setup for spring. I know. I love me some thunderstorms, especially when I'm sleeping. No problem, Jackson. Will Portland get snow? I just talked about that. Within this next week, both the Euro, GFS, all the models like the chance for low elevation snow into Portland, Seattle, other coastal cities. You're going to get some significant troughing. You're going to get a good push of below freezing cold air down on the surface with a lot of moisture availability. So it does look good for some low elevation snow in the PNW over the next week. Thanks, Ashley. I'm living in Philly. I grew up in Florida, but I live in Philly now. Florida was 82 today. Yep, Florida's cooking. You hear that, Julie? Florida's cooking. It's you guys are going to get another cool down, though, this winter in Florida. Trust me. But next couple of weeks, going to stay cold. PNW Toxica. I think it was all late to live. No problem. Is it too early to predict on the 19th because I'm flying? Yeah, that's a little early. Almost 3 weeks. Yeah, a little early. It's really not going to be any miles that know what's going on there. I can see a southern stratospheric warming in late February into March. Yeah. There's something really weird going on here, guys. And when you see an anomaly like this, I can usually see when something isn't looking right. This to me doesn't look right. This would be the strongest polar jet that's ever been in existence. This thing would be moving at light speed around the troposphere and stratosphere up in the Arctic. We would get superheated down in the US if we were to see this. But you can see the EO, our Eastern Pacific, our EPO, and our NAO, everything wants to go super positive here. This going into March would mean a massive warm up for the East. Let me go to a different ensemble really quickly here. Okay. So that's our weekly here. I don't see any signal on any of our GFS European Canadian ensembles that show that we would have this massive warm-up. This, to me, I think is going to correct itself over the next couple days. Because if it didn't, we would have the hottest March in history in the lower 48 and out east. Low taper fade. This would be obnoxious. God, my phone's dead. I want to call Matt and ask what he thinks about it. This would be so obnoxious. So I'm not even going to touch that. I think there's something going wrong with their systems here. What does this mean for South Carolina? Hot or cold February? Again, it still looks like we're going to get a decent cool down out east, southeast and towards the east, second half of February. Automatically, yeah. Have Matt jump in here. I just don't understand what's happening with the Euro weeklies there. I really don't. Boston, even with this zonal flow, keeping all that cold air and snow to the north, Boston has a good chance for some of these storms to sweep through. A lot of this stuff on the Euro and GFS is ice and mixing. Obviously, at the end of the Euro run, which we don't want to trust too much, it's a big snowstorm for Boston. But some people have been talking about a splitting polar vortex. You can have that. You can have kind of a jet pump down to the north with a tight polar vortex holding as well. I love when you're supposed to get a snowstorm and it happens overnight and you wake up and there's so much snow on the ground. I'm patiently waiting for snow here in Ohio, hopefully. Yeah, like I said, second half of February, we might see that snow back through the Central Plains, lower Midwest. February weather, North Carolina, again, there's no snow in your forecast, meaning over the next week and a half. We do have our Arctic oscillation going negative, meaning we're getting cold air pushing down from the Arctic, but we need our jet stream to dip. We need our jet stream to dive to pull that colder air farther down, and we don't have that. Well, we have it at the end of our cycle. All right, Mesomat's here. Matt, here's our European weeklies, and it's doing something really silly, and I can't really wrap my head around it. It looks like a error in the system to me. Do you see this AO up here? Not just that, our EPO, our PNA, this would be our WPO. This would be, there's no way. This would be the hottest March in history for the East. I mean, this is almost off the chart. This is almost touching the top of the chart. This would be 90s. This would be 80s and 90s in Philadelphia in the beginning of March. With this EPO, with this, look how negative this PNA is. Thank you. I just wanted you to confirm that I'm not going crazy. This to me seems like it's broken. Yes, and like Matt just said, if this happened, oh my God, would we have a severe weather outbreak in the Southeast in March? I want you guys to understand. Here's what this right here translates into. Ready? What this right here translate to? Ready? That right there translates into this type of jet stream, okay? That's an extremely negative PNA. That translates into a jet stream like this. And what your positive, what your AO being this positive translates into is a ton of warm, like above average heat pushing into the east. I mean, this would be an incredibly severe outbreak out here in the east, southeast, if we were to see our teleconnections come through. Luckily for us, this is the European weekly, meaning, you know, our Euro, here's our trustable time frame. Here's our semi-trustable time frame. There's plenty of time for this wild look out here to correct itself. And I expect it to correct itself. If we were to see this and that type of negative PNA, like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So luckily there's plenty of time for that to correct itself. I don't even, this is so silly looking. It is March, so who knows, sadly, though. Yeah. We've been talking about the potential for an above average severe weather outbreak through March, April. So part of me, you know, that's why part of me is you would usually just throw this off, but like, man, I think we're good though. I think a positive AO it could happen. I think this is just ridiculous. Anyways, I want to get that off my screen. I don't even want to really entertain that too much. We'll look at it moving forward. I just looked at it, you know, live with you guys, so that's why I was a little bit shook. I didn't have time to prep for that. All right, thanks, Matt. Do you think a early, if that were to happen, it probably would be an early spring in the South, but I think that's a little, I think it's a little off. Yeah, guys, if you don't follow Matt, Mesomat, Mesomatt, Mesomat, he is, he's great at this stuff, guys. He knows what he's talking about. He's on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the stuff. Mesomat, and he's always covering severe weather live. So he said, "I'm scared now." No, we're not scared. Not gonna happen. But yeah, he's a great guy to follow. Awesome dude. His team too. They're in here helping moderate. So shout out to all of you guys. Yeah, they're awesome. Could Binghamton, New York, see snow anytime soon? Again, that southern, upstate New York, central to northern upstate New York is expected to see above average snow through the first couple weeks of February. That, the closer you get to the border of PA, you're going to be probably experiencing ice and mixing like you probably were today, right, in Binghamton? Just because of how far this zonal flow is up north. Yep. Mesomat has seriously, guys. Mesomat has a great team behind him. Always mods in the chat, so it's not going to be ridiculous. People, they keep it controlled. He answers everyone's questions as quickly as he can. He covers all severe weather events. He's a great guy to follow for this type of stuff. Very passionate about it. Any snow for Wichita in the next few weeks? So, it's impossible to see what's going to happen a few weeks from now. But as I said, our European model is our best kind of cold air troughing model. It does this is very far out. Take it with a huge grain of salt. It does like a big dip in our jet stream here. Mid-February, which would activate the central plains up into the Midwest southern region for a big snowstorm. Take that with a grain of salt. Mid-February, it does like your chances at a big snowstorm. That would include potentially portions of Missouri, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Indiana, all those type of places. So we're still seeing it. So there's a signal. Nothing's guaranteed, but the signal's there. So Shan said, I agree with you. I believe we could see another Arctic blast in late February and possibly through March. Yeah, I still think we're favoring another dig of cold air out east. So regardless of how crazy the European weeklies seem, those are weeklies, so they're going to be less accurate. Severe weather in Chicago. Well, I'm worried if we keep this type of flow up. We're worried about you can see at the end of this Euro run and at the end of the GFS run, they both like multiple ice storms through Chicago. Luckily, they're over 150 hours out, so those storms are going to likely shift, but I don't like what it's doing through portions of the Mid-Atlantic, like right there that you're seeing right there. I don't like where it's bringing this ice moving forward, but we're going to see shifts in these storms moving forward. Right now, all that we know is very likely to happen right now is we got a ton of moisture and cold air digging into the Pacific Northwest, Northern California, into the Rockies, and the Northern Plains. That's our week outlook. You guys just look at up there. Okay, look at the Northwest and the Northern Plains. Lots of moisture, cold air up there. That's kind of the thing, the first thing we're watching. And we'll see what happens from there. I have a feeling someone will be coming back into DC. I've said I don't think the Mid-Atlantic's seen the biggest snowstorm this year. Even though the Euro Weekly wants to disagree with me, I disagree with it. So, I'm holding on to it, guys. Second half of February. What was it? Could you zoom in on Wisconsin for snow totals this week? Sure, we can see what our Euro thinks Kuchera wise for snow totals up in Wisconsin. Here we go. We'll push out a week. We'll push out. There we go. That's what I was saying. Green Bay looks okay. It's going to be tough to get some snow down in Madison, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee. A little tough. You can see, actually, you can't see Minnesota here. I'll move a little bit over. Guys, this isn't what's going to happen. This is just a good global snow model. So, this is a good, yeah, global snow. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, here you go. Here's about a week out through the northern plains. Don't take this for gospel, okay? Do not take it for gospel. But I would say where it's putting snow is very likely to happen. Snow totals that you're seeing are probably going to be slightly different. This snow line could shift south, could shift a little north. There's enough time in here. But this is what we talked about all through January, expecting the northern plains to finally get back in on the action. In a big way, potentially. So, okay, give me 2 seconds, guys. I will be right back. I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Chat, we're back. We're back. Robert, what's the naughty? What is that? Thanks, Kelly. I'm back, chat. Man, honestly, I like not having 1,000 people in here. I mean, I like having a lot of people in here, but I think TikTok's punishing me for taking a day off of streaming. That's okay. I deserve it. No breaks. No breaks, guys. Severe weather for Oklahoma next week. Now, originally, we were watching the 6th to the 9th time frame for a big severe weather outbreak. Luckily for all of us, this trough right here that we thought would be really digging, really amplified, really shoving that cold air into that hot air, getting all that lift, is very unimpressive. It's not digging as far south, and that means Oklahoma's looking like it's in the clear in a lot of southern states as well. It is pulling that severe weather, although over towards the Ohio Valley. So states like Kentucky, that's where we want the severe weather, right? I'm just kidding. But no. Yeah, shout out Matt. No, it is pulling that severe weather a little bit farther out east into the north, although it's not, even up here, it's not as significant as it would have been down here. So the amplified trough is good for everyone. Erie, Pittsburgh area. Especially Pittsburgh, you guys are looking at warm weather and above average temperatures for a while. Erie's looking at a pretty big decrease of snow as well moving forwards. You guys are going to have to wait as well, I think, for mid to late, the second half of February to see a big pickup in snowfall. This could be potentially a big snow for Erie and Pittsburgh, but this is too far out. It's going to be a little bit boring for a lot of us out there in the East. Do you think New York City can get snow anytime soon? If you're talking about in the next 2 weeks, Tyler, no. If you're talking about, like I said, second half of February, I still think we're going to see a move back out east. South Carolina, you're going to be hot. You're going to be rainy. Mama Michelle, no problem. When will southeast Minnesota get snow? Well, again, first half of February looks good for the northern plains, including out in the northern Midwest. You can see what a lot of these systems want to do. They want to keep that snow into central and northern Minnesota. Although I wouldn't be shocked if you got some heavy snow in South Minnesota too. The snow line's really tight. We were just looking at it earlier. We can actually compare these. We can compare. Here's our European snow totals. Well, here, let's not go that far out. Let's go into a realistic time range. 196 hours out. There's our Euro, Canadian, GFS, Icon. Look at Minnesota. You see where all this is putting the snow? These are all our different models, same time frame. Euro likes to keep the snow out of southeast Minnesota. GFS, or Canadian, thinks it'll head down there. GFS, no snow. Icon puts the snow in the southeastern Minnesota. So a little bit of a disagreement. Tons of agreement that Minneapolis and north, not even central, but south central Minnesota and north gets a lot of snow. Not as much agreement on, down there near the Iowa border in this time frame. All right, let's head back here. The DMV is looking warm and rainy for a while. Again, second half of February, we're going to be waiting for. This zonal flow is not going to give us any good big winter storm in the DMV anytime soon. Winter's not over, though. Winter, you can get big winter storms all the way through mid-March out there in the DMV. So even after we get through the second week of February, we still got another month where you can get big snow out there. It's happened before. It'll happen again. EJ, what's going on? Oh, I don't have my phone. Oh, EJ, I need to add you as a moderator. Or you are a moderator. EJ, what's going on? What is going on? That's my brother, guys, in chat right now. EJ the Collector. If you like anything Marvel, DC, he collects comic books, all sorts of, well, really Pokemon cards, but he has a TikTok, YouTube that is he's just a big nerd who loves all the nerdy stuff and collects it and puts out videos on it. It's actually pretty cool. Comic-Con tomorrow. I didn't know that. North Carolina? Charlotte? Where is it? No, it's not. It's not North Carolina. What's mid-Michigan looking like? Let's see here, guys. I mean, honestly, the easiest way to show you is looking at our week out. I mean, Central, talking about Grand Rapids and North, looks like you could get some decent snow over the next week. I think it might stay just to the north of Grand Rapids, though. Wait, EJ, you see that? What Mama Michelle said? My husband has a huge comic book collection he's looking to sell. My brother is a big comic book collector. He literally makes tons of videos on it. He would love probably to get in contact with your husband just to see what he has to offer. That's awesome. Nebraska, again. I'll just take this all with a grain of salt, guys, but what the Euro sees is that snow staying to the north here through the next couple weeks of February. He said, are they in North Carolina? Probably somewhere else, but and what the Euro sees is a negative PNA, which is what our Euro Weekly sees, meaning as we move into late in the second week of February, our jet stream dips and suddenly the Central Plains, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Northern Missouri, Indiana, Chicago gets in on the fun. This is a big question mark. Does this happen? It's too far out. But our best cold air troughing model likes the chances of it happening. So it's something to be, to watch out for. I appreciate the follows, guys. And the subs. Looks like I'll be plowing this weekend. Oh, I know, Brittany. We want this. Oh my gosh, I'm stressing. Okay, because listen, we did really good with the outlook in January, and we did really good. And I said in December I liked cold air and a couple southern snowstorms. We did good there. I said moving into February, I liked the northern plains receiving a good amount of snow and seeing more snow and cold air troughing out west. We've done great. But what I've been also next, I've been really bullish on was second half of February, cold air troughing, winter storms return out east. I'm getting nervous now. I'm still confident because we have a negative AO and we have what looks to be a positive PNA returning for a period of time into the second half of February. So I'm holding on to it, but it's getting sketchy here. I know, Julie. I know. I am 800. You need 300 watch hours on YouTube, or 3,000 watch hours on YouTube to get like memberships. And I'm at like 2,200. So I'm 800 watch hours away. So I'm hoping a week or two. So the way to support me would be on YouTube through memberships once I get that. I know. TikTok's kind of screwed over all creators. It sucks, but I appreciate you, Julie. You know, it is what it is, I guess. I appreciate anyone who's tried to resub or tried to gift or anything like that. I know it's like impossible for everyone now. What will Mass get this weekend? Yeah, you guys are... It's like northern central Mass wants to get a lot of snow. Hold up really quick here. You can see these systems also just like... this could be a good amount of snow here. Let me look at something for you guys up there. Let's move back up here to the northeast. The Euro, yeah, I mean, the Euro doesn't really like a ton of snow into Boston. A little bit of snow, maybe an inch or two into northern Mass. Second clipper comes through. It's really just northern Mass. Third, fourth system, it's really just northern Mass. I mean, again, with this type of zonal flow, there's just a significant snow cutoff. And it's going to be a big gamble for Massachusetts, especially. You're either going to be getting ice and mixing, or you're going to be getting heavy snow. It's a pretty steep cutoff for you guys. You know, if you were to believe the Euro 5 days out, it wants an inch to two for Boston. But that could easily be 4 to 5 inches, or it could easily be 0 based on where you are. You could easily outperform or underperform because you're right where the snow line wants to be. I think the GFS may want it a little bit farther south. Let me look. Yeah, shocker. The GFS wants it farther south. The GFS thinks 3 to 5. So again, you could easily overperform or underperform. I don't think you're going to get that exact 1 to 2 that it thinks. It's all going to come down to what's the temperature at your mid latitude or your mid altitude. Mid layer of the troposphere. Ice accumulation for Ohio. I don't think there's any ice storm coming through soon enough where this would be accurate. You need to be within like 48 hours to get an accurate ice accumulation. So, I mean, if we even move out here, this doesn't even start until almost 120 hours out. I wouldn't pay attention to any ice accumulation that's that far out. So don't even worry about ice yet. There's no forecastable ice in Ohio, so not even a concern. Ice is extremely hard to forecast more than a couple days out. Any chance Maryland will get snow? If you do, it's not going to be the first half of February. It's going to be the second half. It's going to stay warm for a little bit here. Out east. Can you check out Chicago? I haven't seen snow all winter. Like I said, our best snow and cold air troughing model, like snow in Chicago, mid-February. A decent amount of snow. It's pretty far out, though. So at least there's a signal for a good snow in Chicago, but there's not really much consensus on it. Cedar Rapids anytime soon? Yeah, that would be the same answer as Chicago. Yeah, can I check? Yeah, Idaho's going to get buried. That's an easy one. Idaho's going to get absolutely buried with snow. Yeah, we can push out there real quick. Well, honestly, I just want to take a look at our Euro Kuchera, at our 18Z Euro. Here's your 5-day forecast in Idaho. We're talking at least a half inch down in the Boise too. I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, the Euro right now is thinking you could have 6 feet of snow at elevation in some areas. Yeah, you're good in Idaho if you want snow. Don't worry about it. It's coming. There's no avoiding this. This atmospheric river is setting up. I do want to mention 30-inch Park City, Utah, not out of the question. This atmospheric river is going to dump a little bit of its snow down into the Rockies. So here's our 5-day out here. You can see some of the heaviest snow totals. 2.5 feet on the Euro. Some of the heaviest snow totals around Salt Lake, a foot or more. I would say a foot is probably a pretty good prediction, but yeah, I wouldn't hope. I mean, the heaviest snow totals we can see on our best snow model right now is going to be about 2.5 feet. So, what's the weather looking like in Boston early this week? Rainy and warm, probably. Let's go back up there. No, not. Boston's kind of on the northern side of this jet stream, so it's not going to be feeling the warmth that we are down in Philly. You guys still got some troughing. As we get early into the week, you got a clipper moving through, and then you've got some ridging moving up. So that's when it starts to warm up, and you're probably just going to see rain. How much snow does this have? I mean, this would be really Sunday night. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to warm up and maybe see some rain. Again, the Euro thinks you guys get an inch of snow from this clipper right here on Sunday night. The GFS thinks you get 3 inches. You guys are going to end up with no snow, or you're going to end up with 3 inches of snow. It's going to be close. You guys may be a little bit too warm. The Euro likes... God, there's some mixing to your south. Yeah, maybe an inch or two from that Sunday night. That's really hard to tell. The GFS is much more bullish on this, though. It's not close enough for the HRRR either. You guys are dead on the snow line of seeing mixing or snow. It's a close call. Someone said we might get snow again in South Georgia. I want to ask you something really quick about someone who said, whoever told you that, I want them to respond to this. Okay. I want you to tell me, when do you think South Georgia is going to get snow, okay? I'm just going to look at our temperatures and move the timeline forward. Oh, 47. 50. 49. 52. Oh, let's actually go out a little bit farther. Where in this heat wave do they expect you to get snow? Oh, wait. We got down to, what did we get down to there? 51? Whoever told you you're getting snow again in South Georgia, I want them to know where they're pulling this information from. Is it GenCast, a new Google AI forecasting model? Listen, they're telling you that because they're hopeful, and I'm glad people are hopeful for snow again in South Georgia. If it does happen, it's going to be the second half of February, where I do think we could get some cold air troughing back down to the southeast, but they're just lying to you. Or they just want views. Could it happen again? Yeah, you could. As I've said in my other streams, some of the biggest snowstorms in history down here have happened in February and March. The 93 snowstorm dropped, 6 inches of snow in Atlanta. In March, the second week of March, there's no snow in the forecast for South Georgia. Could it happen? 100% it could happen this winter. There's nothing forecastable for that, though. What's chances of Mass getting a couple more decent snowstorms? About a 50-50 chance. I do think we're going to have, like I said, a cold air wintry pattern end of February into March. So we'll see about that. But winter's far from over, especially for New England. Detroit's going to be tough. You got some Clippers moving through. You don't have any big super blizzard snowstorm coming into Detroit anytime soon. At the end of the Euro run, as we get into mid-February, it wants to give you a chance of a big snowstorm. It's too far out for that to be forecastable, but I'd say that your good chance for a snowstorm doesn't start until after the 12th of February. And then your chances probably go up for big snow in Detroit, just based on our pattern. KJ said, what is your best winter season as far as big snowstorms and winter weather and cold weather? I don't know what you mean by that, but I've actually never even lived up north until a couple of years ago. I grew up in Florida, then I lived in Southern California, then I lived in Charlotte, where we actually had a decent snow year in 2021. I lived in Philly for a couple of years. But my wife grew up in Savage, Minnesota. She has experienced big snow winters, big snows. Not like me. 1996 in Delaware was the best. I know some people in here have memories of some huge snowstorms. What's the snow looking like in Newfoundland on the War Coast? Well, when? Listen, if the east is warm, so is Newfoundland. Unless you get a good snow out here near the 7th, between the 7th and the 9th. Donut, dog face, whatever. Thank you for the roses. I can't read it. Cedar Point fan. PPD, appreciate it. Severe weather in Kansas City. You don't have anything really to worry about in the short term. You're just gonna be annoyingly warm. No severe weather to worry about in the short term. Hello, hope all is well. You said east is going to snow again in Maryland. I believe the outlook calls for a cool down and a better winter weather pattern out east in a couple weeks, but it's not in forecastable range. Is Houston going to... Okay, the spam. There we go. Boise snow? I mean, it does look like you're getting that low elevation snow. Like I said, Seattle and Portland could get snow moving forward over the next 5 days. I think Boise could get, 4 to 6 inches or more of snow through the end of this weekend and into early. I mean, right here is actually probably where Boise would see it. Middle of next week, because that's when you can see this significant cold air troughing moving in behind here. This is cool air down at the surface below freezing for sure as this pushes in. That could be 4 to 6 inches of snow in Boise middle of this upcoming week. Yeah, talked about Wisconsin snow a lot. You guys are going to have the same kind of problem Minnesota is. I think Minnesota from the Twin Cities up could see some good snow. I think it's going to be Green Bay up, where most of the snow is going to fall in Wisconsin. The GFS and Canadian like that snow a little bit farther south, down into Milwaukee and Madison. But it's going to be a close call. Our zonal troughing, our jet stream setting up pretty far to the north and keeping a lot of warm air on the southern side of this. So, thoughts on severe weather February 6th to the 7th? Well, luckily, this looked like it would be a very, very bad severe weather outbreak. It's pulled back a little bit, but now we have severe weather that's pushing up into the Ohio Valley. It's a weird outlook. Usually you don't get severe weather this far north, this far early in winter. To me, right now, it doesn't look too threatening. But there's some potential here. You have a negatively tilting trough. You can see based on the Euro wanting to dip down to at least a 991 over the Great Lake region. You're gonna have a lot of warm air pushing into a lot of cold air. Not really Not really a decent or not really a decent squall line setting up on the future radar. That doesn't matter. I hope when we get to this point, we see this kind of widespread mosh of rain, because this would help to rain cool the air before we really got any sort of lift. But it's something to watch out for. This is something we need to pay attention to, because there's a chance that could lead to a somewhat of a severe weather outbreak through the Ohio Valley. To me, if I were to rate it 1 to 10 on how severe it looks right now, I'd give it a 4. I wouldn't be surprised if we pushed up to a 6 or 7 though, moving forward. So we'll watch it. Cincy, I appreciate you. What are the chances of 1 or 2 more decent snowstorms in Boston in February and March? I'd say pretty good. At least 1, maybe 2. One second, guys. Where did? Thank you for the follow, Michelle. A lot of people are asking about Newfoundland. I mean, listen, if we're having a zonal flow through the U.S. and or pushing into the second week of February, troughing out west, I wouldn't expect, and now I haven't been watching what's going on in that region. I wouldn't expect you guys to be seeing above average precipitation, or maybe above average precipitation, but not snowfall. Because what's typically going to happen is you're going to get some of our ridging we're experiencing out east. And you can see, I mean, just based on our future radar, it wants to pull a lot of mixing and rainfall into Newfoundland in winter, which is weird. But it's not looking very wintry over Newfoundland moving forward. Over the next couple weeks, at least. The red is ice. We don't like red. AccuWeather is calling for a multi-day ice storm event in central Oklahoma. Yeah. Don't believe something that's that far out. The 7th to the 8th. Yeah, don't believe it. It's too far out. Good evening, Tad. Good evening, Tad. Chances for snowstorms in Baltimore in February and March. I don't think we're done with snow in the mid-Atlantic this winter, so I'll say that. As I've been saying, and it's tough based on our outlook, but I do think we're going to see another decent snowstorm through the mid-Atlantic in New England this winter, if not a couple. I can't be switching. I can't be telling you one thing and switching to the other. I'm still confident in that. We've done good so far this winter. Our European Weekly wants to, tell me to F off and tell me I'm wrong, but I think the European Weekly is going to adjust this week. I trust your forecast more than them. Thanks, Leanne. That red over Ohio looks concerning. Is that ice? Yes, but when does it happen? $336 hours out. You know the last time a future radar showed something 336 hours out and it happened was? Oh, that's right. Never. Don't worry about it, guys. Could we see ice out there in that time frame? Yes, but this is La La Land out here on the radar. I'll look at the troughing and say, okay, could we be expecting a super negative PNA type of look out here? Maybe. You're not good. X off the future radar. Don't believe that far out. It's okay, believable up to about 200 hours. Okay, something like this could happen. Once you get out of here to the end of the run, it's kind of garbage time for the radar. Does the weather predictor 8000 know if it's safe to climb Mount Everest in a Speedo tomorrow? I'd say it's probably never safe to climb Mount Everest in a Speedo. If that were to happen, would it be close to an inch with that deep red? Tad, if that were to happen, yeah. It would be very bad. Casey, Mesomat sick. Mesomat has not been feeling great, but word on the street is he's recovering and he's going to come back stronger than ever. No, he's doing okay. I spoke with him. He's doing all right. He's starting to feel better, so. Yeah. He's the severe weather guy. He's the tornado guy. And I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm getting too many questions about tornadoes. You know, you're the tornado guy. And I can't take all this pressure. I'm like the hurricane guy who knows about snow too. But like he's like your like tornado guy. He's like your tornado and hail guy. And I said, dude, you need to come back. Because I can't take the heat. It's too much pressure. Tornadoes are complicated. No, I know a little bit. I like my bigger vortexes. I prefer my bigger cyclones rather than my miniature cyclones. I hate the storm pattern. Yeah, join the club, Amir. Me too. I moved up to Philly being a snow lover, and I was like, yeah, Philly, where I live averages 19 inches of snow a year. You know how much snow we've been averaging like 8 inches of snow a year since I moved here. I'm pissed. Is winter done for Virginia? I do not think so. Second half of February, I think we're going to be okay. We're going to get some cold air and some snow back. I don't think so. We got down to -4 with the polar vortex. Wasn't really the polar... Well, the polar vortex had something to do with it. When the polar vortex slows, it does dip air down. But it'd be the polar jet that would bring you that. Yeah, with that... It's all associated with the polar vortex, so you're right. What about Charleston, South Carolina? Again, in the short term, we're gonna be, you know, heading to the beach with our margaritas in hand out here in the Southeast over the next couple of weeks. But I don't think your winter's over. I don't think we got a little bit more cold air and some winter weather before it's all said and done. We still got about a month and a half of some good potential for winter weather down there. So, does the Euro do good with severe weather or GFS? GFS does better with warm air. The Euro does better with cold air. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me, but it does. The algorithm likes cold air. It just does. Well, the GFS does better around the subtropics and tropics as well. That's why we love the GFS in hurricane season. We do. Listen, guys, my mother-in-law leaves tomorrow. It's her last night here, and I told her that I'd have a couple brewskis and hang out. So I appreciate you all being in here. I am back, so I'll be going live again tomorrow, posting a video tomorrow. We'll see how all this stuff turns out. Shout out, mods. You're the best. I appreciate all of you. Everyone, have a great weekend if I don't see you again, but again, I'll be back online tomorrow. I want to go on I might go live like between like 1 to 2:30 tomorrow. I think I'm gonna go live in the afternoon and at nighttime, and probably post a couple videos tomorrow. So, but I'm back, and like I said, thank you for spending some time in here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for anyone who followed, sub, gifted, just was in here engaging with me. Like I always said, Julie, you're the best. Tell me when it stops snowing there. You guys are awesome, and I will talk to you tomorrow.